Welcome to the Biz Bash podcast, where we make biz strategy a piece of cake. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Cami, but you might know us better as Eliza Ann Calligraphy and Cami Monet. We want to help you, our fellow stationers, artists, and calligraphers, confidently build a profitable and personality-driven creative biz.
We're here to share our honest-to-goodness advice and actionable strategies for ambitious artists.
So put on your party hat, quit being a procrastinator gator, and let's get this party started.
Hey everyone, welcome back for episode 59 of the Biz Bash podcast. Today we are talking about what is catfishing and why shouldn't you do it. You might have done this before and not even realized it. So that's why we have decided we're going to talk about this today, just because we think it's really important for everyone in the creative industry to understand what this actually is and why you shouldn't be doing it to other people. So the point of this episode is not to shame anybody. We just want to go over this topic so we can provide some guidance and insight for other creatives that have either experienced this or have done it to someone. And if you have done it, please don't feel bad. And if you're someone we have personally interacted with regarding this topic, please know all of this is said and done in the past. This episode is entirely meant purely from an educational standpoint and to hopefully set a better precedent in a new industry standard. So that being said, we're going to talk about catfishing and what does that mean in the creative industry?
First of all, I just want to say that was a very good introduction. I felt like I was gearing up for a really important I don't know. I didn't even know. I was just like, oh my gosh. That was really good. And catfishing has nothing to do with fishing or cats. So if you're here for that, I'm so sorry. You're going to be disappointed, you guys. So catfishing, defined in the most simple terms, is basically when you pretend to be someone you're not. So Google's definition is to lure someone into a relationship by means of a fictional online persona. Dun, dun, dun. So some of you guys might already be familiar with this term if you watch Dateline or crime shows when cops pretend to be someone, or dating shows where they meet online and it turns out it's some super creepy dude. But this also happens in our industry in a little in a less dramatic way. Obviously, no one's getting arrested. So this happens to us through online inquiry forms. So yeah, let's talk about that.
And we have both had this happen to us, right?
Yes, we have.
Okay. Yeah, so basically, if you have quote-unquote inquired through someone's online forum and made up a fake name, email, wedding date, etc., to find out how the other creative or stationer operates and does their process, then you have sadly catfished them. And like we said, no guilt if you have done this, but this is why we're talking about this, to set up some good expectations and practices going forward.
Yeah, and I don't feel like anyone's really talking about this at all. I've never seen anyone talk about it before, so I think this is good to shine a light on something that needs to be talked about, really.
Yes, it does, especially because it will awkwardly come out, I feel in online discussions or Facebook groups, and then things get heated and weird and feelings are really hurt. And so if we can set a standard going forward, then everybody will be in a better boat, I think.
Yeah, we all want to be in that better boat. We're getting in the better boat right now.
Yes, getting in the better boat together. So let's talk about why this is a bad idea for a few reasons. And we have 5 things listed out. So Cami, go ahead and start with number 1.
Okay. So number 1, you're giving that person false hope that they just received an actual inquiry for a client that would actually hire them and bring them in money. So even if you're unintentionally doing this, you're just oh, just send them this. Think about how excited you get when you get an inquiry. You're oh my gosh, this could be my next client. I get excited for every inquiry that comes my way, every single lead. Because I'm this is someone else I get to serve. This is another client. This pays the bills. Woohoo! And then you're going to get a really crappy feeling when you find out, 1, this is not a real inquiry because, hey, now you're not going to be able to pay money and you just wasted your time putting together a proposal or whatever. We know those take quite a bit of time, especially in the stationery industry. You just wasted your time putting it together for a fake person who wasn't planning on purchasing from you in the first place. They're just trying to get your pricing. So you're giving out false hope. That's not good.
I know. And it's just it's a bummer feeling. If you've been on the end of this where you have received one and then realized it, and then all sorts of feelings emerge at that point.
Definitely. I feel violated. I'm how dare they come in here and pretend to be a fake? How are they? And then
It's
I
like
feel
almost
sad.
like stages of grief. Like you
It
experience
is.
all of it at once because you're like mourning the fact that you're like, oh, I thought this was an opportunity for business and it's not.
And then I'm like, oh, well, now I want to help this person because they clearly don't understand what's going on. Like, we have all these resources for how to run your business correctly, or like learn your pricing or whatever. I'm like, how? And then you can't even get in touch with them because like you don't know who they are. Like, it's a lot
It's
of
so much like panic
feelings.
and angst and a lot of things.
Yes.
And this leads directly into number 2, which is that you are immediately breaking trust with that vendor if they find out what you've done. This can be fixed. So like don't panic if you get basically if they like confront you, don't panic because you should just immediately kind of step up and apologize. And I know that it's like a hard lesson to like learn when you do something and make a mistake. And Cammie and I have made big mistakes before. I mean, like I was blocked by Laura Hooper on Instagram, y'all. Like, why was I blocked? I like made a mistake and it was like really dumb and I did something that I shouldn't have done. And so you're just risking like ruining a relationship from somebody who potentially could have like offered you help if you had gone about it in a little bit of a different way.
Yeah, exactly. And when you do actually, if you have done this, it's better to just be honest and come clean. It's just like the advice, your mom has always given you in your life to just be honest and like tell them what you did or whatever. And like, say you're sorry. Like, that's all you got to do. Like, I'm not just us, but like, we're all a very understanding group of creatives. And like, we do want to help you and like help each other out. Like, so as long as you're honest and just being like, look, I did this because I don't understand how to do pricing. And then I could be like, look, well, here's some resources where it can help you. We can direct you to this, but we can't help you if you're trying to be sneaky and we don't know who you are and you're burning bridges with vendors right and left. Because I can also tell you our community is very tight-knit and very small, and people talk and people will say, hey, this email's going around and they're being catfish, or like it's a catfish, so watch out, like don't answer this inquiry or whatever. And like people will find out who you are. Like,
yeah,
it's the internet. People will definitely find out who you are. Even if it's not the first vendor, it's like the next person they share it with and like talks about and says like, don't answer this person. They're gonna be like, hey, what about this, this, and this? And they'll be able to stumble down a rabbit hole and eventually find you, and then you're gonna feel like a really big idiot. So
yeah,
just avoid that whole scenario because it's uncomfortable for everybody. Like on our end, on your end, like everyone's just like, oh my god, like it's very uncomfortable. So just avoid that.
Yeah, no one really like knows how to like handle it. Yeah,
like I don't even know if I want to like catch the person because then I feel even worse that I do know who it is, and then I'm like, I know it was you, and then I don't know how to like. It was you. And then I don't know. I'm like, do I tell them because I don't want to embarrass them? But I'm like, but I feel like I should because now I can't like function normally with them. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
You get
it becomes a big elephant in the room and it becomes super awkward. All right, moving on to number 3. Go ahead, Cammie.
Okay. Number 3 is that you are essentially lying to get something you want. And is that really the precedent you want to set? Like, do you really want to be a liar? No, you don't. We were getting sassy in this episode.
I know.
Mostly me. I'm sorry, everybody.
It's also the way that I wrote that line, and it's just like very funny.
I had to read it the way you wrote it.
And is that really the precedent you want to set? You want to be a liar? She added that. I didn't write that. You want to be a liar?
I added that. Oh, anyway,
hopefully you can judge by our tones that we are taking this in a very lighthearted approach. So like we said, this episode is like a no shame zone. This is purely information.
This is purely information and giggles. So if you are a liar and that's how you want to do your research, you're sorry. I am so sorry. You're right. I am not doing this right.
Oh,
please go.
So funny.
Will you just read this one? So I need to shut up.
No, I'm saying stop because you're just making me laugh. You keep making me laugh. Not
I thought I was like not doing a good job.
You are doing a great job. It shows you are cracking me up. Okay, go ahead.
You wrote about lying a lot in this. You are inadvertently hurting the industry and lying to people in the process. You liar, you, which is not a good way to set yourself up for success in the long run.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Can I just point out that in that sentence, I actually wrote the word line once, and Cammie added it in like 5 or 6 more times. So, who's the liar now? Who's the liar now, Cammie?
Sorry, it's in there twice. It's in there twice. Lying. That's it. Okay.
Wait, no. It is in number 3 once and point A once.
I mean, this is one paragraph to me.
Oh,
I don't know.
all right, you silly goose, you. Anyways, though, I just think that's never it's the saying, like, start off on the right foot, you know? And
Yeah.
this is not doing that and will just inadvertently lead to a lot of, like, hurt feelings and angst, like we kinda talked about before.
Man, it kind of ruins your reputation a little
Yeah.
bit. I mean, it doesn't
Mhm.
ruin it. It does like tarnish it a bit. Like if you come back and you apologize and you're like, I just didn't understand. Like I didn't know. Like that's fine. Like, but if you know and you know you're doing it, then like it is going to tarnish things a little bit. So
Yeah. It's gonna make people upset, and granted, like, your clients might never know you're doing this, but I really think that there's a lot of availability to get, like, referrals from people in the industry if you're building relationships correctly.
and doing business the right way because we
Yeah.
don't want to refer out to people who we don't feel like our clients are going to be served the best. Like I'm not going to refer out to someone who I'm like, I don't know, because that reflects badly on me too if like that vendor doesn't do a great job. So like
Mhm.
I feel like super confident in the people that I do refer out. I'm like, I know that you're going to be in great hands with this person. I can like say that with 100% certainty and like tell my client like I'm so excited you're going to get to work with her because she's awesome and here's why. Like I know.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know, but if like I know you have done catfishing, then I'm going to be like, well, what else are they going to do? What else are they going to do? I'm just
Yeah.
kidding, guys. Sorry, so
Who knows,
dramatic.
though? I mean,
Who
yeah, it's
knows?
not like it's gonna lead to any, like, crazy crime or anything,
Yeah.
but I don't know, is, like, catfishing technically considered a crime? I would have to look that up.
I mean, I feel like in terms of like if online dating and stuff,
That it
maybe.
is.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
probably
Like,
not in this instance, but I can't remember. I'd have to look into that. Anyways. Hey guys, we just wanted to hop in and talk about one of our amazing resources, the A to Z directory. All of us have thought at some point, how did she do that or how did she make that? And maybe you don't know where to start or how the heck to produce this amazing product you've dreamt up.
well, the A to Z directory is the missing puzzle piece in your biz, you guys. Seriously. So it's built in the form of a yearly membership, and it's your one-stop shop for finding suppliers and vendors for all the things. Literally where to print everything from custom invitations, greeting cards, mugs, koozies, acrylic printing, letterpress, custom ribbon. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And it literally goes from A to Z. From acrylic printers to zipper pouches, we have it in the A to Z directory.
We want to help all of you search less and create more with this list of 300 plus vendors and suppliers. Don't worry, they're very organized. It's not going to be overwhelming and confusing when you join. And this membership also includes access to a private Facebook community. It's incredibly active and involved. And if you need a question answered fast, that is definitely the place to go.
Yeah, our Facebook group really is the best. You guys, everyone is so helpful in there. And we're in there too, answering questions you guys might have. So it's a great way to get access to us and ask us things without sliding into our DMs. So we're more likely to answer you in the Facebook group, just saying. Anyway, also in the Facebook group, this is new for 2020 and we're really excited about it. We are hosting monthly Power Hour Q&A sessions that are live and it is directories. So you can hop in with us live and ask us all your burning questions in real time and just hang out with us every month. And we do these at different times so you can actually be there live, and the replays are always available in the Facebook group for members.
This resource is priced at $147 a year, which honestly is extremely affordable and is full of so many benefits, such as exclusive vendor coupons for members only. And we would love to have you guys join. Seriously, it's kind of like our family and our tribe. So visit bizbirthdaybash.com/directory to sign up today and use coupon code podcast2020 to receive $20 off your first year. That's podcast, all caps, 2020 for $20 off your first year.
We can't wait to see you in the Facebook group.
Moving on to number 4. This is kind of like you're breaking the golden rule, basically. This is why it's a bad idea, because we always say do to others as you want to have done to you. And as you build your business and work hard to make it grow, do you want people to do this to you in the future? The answer is probably no. So even if you're a beginner and you're starting out right now and you're trying to do research, and this is one of the approaches you've taken, it's going to feel really crappy if somebody does this to you down the road. You have to put yourself in their shoes of like, how are they going to feel if they realize that this information I'm submitting is fake? and then I'm just trying to get something out of them,
Yeah.
it's not going to be good. Good feeling.
Yeah, exactly. I also worry too. And now I feel like I shouldn't even say this on air because then people might do it even more. But I'm like, we sell a stationary contract. And if someone catfishes me, they could technically get that for free because it goes to my clients in the proposal, And I'm like, that is the sneakiest thing. And I'm going to be literally livid if I find out y'all did that.
Yeah, I had
But
that
so,
happen, Cami. I can't remember if we
yeah,
ever talked about that, but I had to
we
address
did
it.
talk about this.
And
Yeah.
once I found out, I had to write an email just to be like, I'm so sorry because like now that we've had this conversation, just keep in mind like you've seen what's the proprietary information basically about my business and like please do not like copy and paste this. I had to ask like really nicely like please don't take this from me because that's like something I worked really hard for because my contract
Yeah.
like you would automatically go.
Yeah, it's like something that we have like created and protected and like there is a barrier. Like we do sell it, like you got to purchase it. And like then when we put it out in the world to like a potential client, because they're a client, not a fellow creative that's going to use it, then it's like now the guard is down and they can just grab it and take it. And it's like it is stealing. It really is stealing, like
Mhm.
at that point, because we're selling it and then this is a way to get it for free. And I'm just like, that scares me because we can't really protect it.
Yeah. Well, that's why I started doing consultation calls
That's
because
smart.
people are so much less likely to lie their way through a phone call. It has happened before. I heard from somebody that it happened
Oh,
to
yeah.
them. That's a whole nother thing. But I kind of put that in place because it was almost like a protection standard for me of like, if you're not going to spend time with me on the phone, like I can't really verify like who you are and
Yeah.
whether or not you're actually interested. And I totally got spooked when I like thought that the stationary contract had been like stolen. I was like, oh my God. I like totally freaked out.
I know. And like for me, my standard protection, I guess, is I make them put in an Instagram handle and then I actually go like find them and follow them. And typically, if they're inquiring about invitations, like the last three pictures or something of them getting engaged, like you can tell if it's a real person or not. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and the name matches.
Do you ever have people not fill that Instagram handle out or is it required?
I've had a couple, but you can tell sometimes you can just tell it's a mom, and they're like, this is my daughter. And like the way they type and everything, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's really hard to fake the mother-in-law thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, well, they obviously don't have an Instagram. And they'll be like, oh, my daughter's Instagram is, something like that. And I don't know. Like, I feel like I have like a good like red flag alert now on when I'm being catfished.
Mm-hmm.
You can just kind of tell. But still, I mean, it's not guaranteed, people are smart and sneaky, so they could totally get through. But
Yeah. And I think it's just like talking about this is good because then we're making people aware of like, hey, this has happened. So then we can educate other creatives how to protect themselves. And like what might be like the warning signs of that you're getting like catfished, which I guess we didn't even like discuss that. I didn't put any like red flags or warning signs, which I totally should have done. But maybe after number 5 of this, we can dive into some like warning signs we've noticed.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's go to number 5 and then we can talk about that. So number 5, reason why it's a bad idea to do this is if you do end up receiving pricing from that vendor, is it actually going to benefit you at all? And the answer to this is no, because you have no idea how they structured that pricing, their wholesale vendors, how much their costs actually are, or the thought process that went into it. So copying and utilizing this pricing in your own business means you have a plan absolutely devoid of strategy because you don't understand the reasoning behind it or anything about that person's business. And we talk about this a lot, that you should have your own pricing setup. Do not be like looking around at everyone else's stuff in terms of like exactly to copy it. Like you can look at pricing and be like, oh, market value, this is going for this kind of thing. But still, the way you run your business is completely different than the way this person runs their business. Like Elizabeth and I have totally different pricing structures, like totally different ways of doing things. We charge differently for different things, and we have a similar business model, I would imagine, but totally different pricing things. So you're still not going to benefit yourself by even getting their pricing, except that now you know their pricing. Good job. Like that's it.
Exactly.
But
That's
really
the only thing you've gained, right? It doesn't really do anything else except like make people upset. Yeah, it's not a good way to try to build your business off of information that you've like essentially stolen from someone else without them even knowing. So
Yeah, and honestly, Like in our Facebook group and stuff, like we open that up for people to ask us all kinds of questions, and we share everything about our pricing, why we do this, how much this costs, like how much we charge for this. Like we are very open about that. Like we have a resource dedicated for these kinds of things, you know, because we do want to help people, but like going about it this way, it's just icky. It's just icky, you guys. Like it's not cool. And so many other stationers too, I know they're like very willing to share. Like everyone is so open about their process and why they do this. Like people want to help and people want to share. And there's so many like avenues already out there that you could go and learn from.
Yep, exactly. Okay, so we have like a whole entire section that is dedicated to what should you do instead. So for people who are like, but how else do I get information besides doing this, if that's for some reason been your thought process, we are going to talk about that in a little bit, what you should do instead. But first, Cami, let's loop back around to those like warning signs so that as a creative, like you can protect yourself. Anyone who's listening to this can protect themselves if they feel like this is happening or has happened to them.
Okay. Well, I think one of mine has been when they just like pick a date that's like their wedding date is like a month away or something, or it's like on a month away on like a Monday. Like they just randomly pick something, you know what I mean? Like, so I always check to see if like the date is actually like on a Saturday or Sunday, which sometimes it's not at all, but it's like far enough away where I'm like, okay, this person could legitimately be inquiring about wedding invitations versus if it's like next week, you know, kind of thing. So that's my number one, my first one. I'm trying to think of others because we didn't write these down.
Because we didn't write them down. I would say that like number 2, one of mine would be that the information is very vague.
Yeah, that for sure.
Because people don't necessarily want to embellish. Like if they're just after information, they might put like one line, or they might even like leave the message part like blank. Like, you know,
yeah,
like
I was going to say that too.
You're like,
yeah,
oh,
like
I don't really have any information to go off here. Like, okay, this is strange.
Yeah, it's like very sparsely filled out with terms of details because typically my clients like will be like, oh, I have the venue and I love this. I saw this on your Instagram. Blah, blah, blah. Like they write a really long thing, like what they're thinking, or like, I love these colors, or like whatever, like, or like, I'm thinking about doing this and this and this on my map. Like it's very specific, or, you know, there's lots of stuff going on. And so if it's very like sparsely filled out, then I'm like, interesting.
Right.
Also, if it's like a very like even quantity, like 100, sometimes I mean, that's not like a super red. That's like a yellow flag. Like all these things, like that would be added in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they check like literally everything to see.
Yes. Yeah. That's probably a big one too, is when like everything is checked off and you're like, oh, wait, you want pricing for everything? Which that like isn't even a thing on my form anymore, because I walk through all of that during their consultation call and I fill out that form for them to be like, okay, this is what this is. And do you want this? And do you want that? But you're right. Like that would be really weird to be like, oh, they literally want everything, but they put like $1,000, which also guaranteed, like granted. I almost mixed up the words guaranteed and granted. Granted, people have done that before who are legitimately inquiring.
Yeah, this is
they just don't understand
catfish. Like it's so, you know, these are just things we've noticed. Also, when the name doesn't match the email, like that's huge, obviously.
Yep. When the name doesn't match the email, or when the phone number seems like funky or made up, like it's like, oh, that doesn't look legit.
It's like 867-5309.
Right, exactly. Or like 707-555-5555. And you're like, that can't be right. Let's see. Trying to think of a few others. I mean, the way that I realized it happened to me once was because one of my friends was like, oh, I got another inquiry from a girl named like so-and-so. And I was like, oh, that's so funny. I just got an inquiry from a girl named so-and-so. And then we were like, wait.
But the names were slightly different, but the emails matched, right?
Yes, that was the problem.
Yeah. Yep. Yes. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, everyone talks, you guys. Everyone in our industry is connected. Like, we all are in groups together and chatting. So if you're like up and coming in the industry, you will get found out. I will say. It's like there are no secrets. There really aren't. Yeah. It's a very close-knit industry. So,
yep.
So, yeah. All right, let's talk about what you should do instead of catfishing someone. Yay!
This is the positive part of the episode.
Oh my gosh, I know. I feel like I've been so mean on this episode. I feel like I just have a lot of anger built up, I guess, right now. I don't know why. It's just the coronavirus and everything. And look at me, I'm losing my mind. So what you should be doing is research your competitors. It's okay to research your competitors and see how they have set up their inquiry forms, because they are accessible to the public and you can look at them. You can go look at their inquiry forms. That's totally cool. It is not okay to fill it out in order to get pricing or to copy that form directly unless you have permission from that creative. Like sometimes creatives will be like, oh yeah, go ahead and fill out my inquiry form so you can see how my workflow works. Like that's totally cool. But like, no, most of the time they're not asking you to do that. So unless you've talked to that creative and they've said like, oh, fill it out. But it's totally cool to go like poke around, see what people are asking, like how they set up their inquiry form, what, you can tell if they're using like Dubsado or something on their Squarespace site or whatever, and just like understand what people are doing so you can use that for your business, but not like going all the way steps to get their pricing and everything else.
Yes, exactly. I think I put that as the first bullet point because I didn't want people to be under the impression of like, you can't look at anyone else's stuff ever. I mean, you can. It's like literally in the public domain. It's online.
Yeah.
So
like I don't care if you go look at my inquiry form, and I don't care if you like get in our Facebook group and ask me why I priced or how I priced this. Like, I don't care about that. I do care if you DM me about it because I'm gonna be like, just join our Facebook group because I will answer you in there. But I do care if I get catfish because that's no cool. That's just not cool. And by no cool, I mean not cool.
Yeah, that's when you're taking the additional step where it's all of a sudden, instead of being your personal research, it has become like taking advantage and affecting someone else directly, because when you submit that inquiry, they're receiving it. But if you're looking at their website, they have no way of knowing that you're just looking at their website, and that's okay. Like I said, go look at my inquiry form, look at Cammie's form. Like that stuff is public.
Yeah, do it differently. And then you can figure out like what parts of things work better for you. I mean, do not copy it directly. That's not cool. But yeah, you can just like figure it out. We can learn from each other in a way that doesn't have to, have a negative impact.
Yes. Exactly. So the second thing for what you should do instead is that if you come across a form that you love and you're curious about the process of the workflow after it, do some due diligence first to see if that creative or that person and business owner has offered any other education through podcast episodes, courses, YouTube videos, blog posts, etc. There is so much free information out there that talks about things like workflows, that talks about things like pricing even. I mean, like Sablewood Paper Co. She's got an awesome blog post series about pricing. Like, I don't mind putting that out there because she is like the bomb.com and spent all this hard work doing that. So it's like if somebody were to catfish her before doing their due diligence, then it's just like an extra waste of everyone else's time because she's already worked so hard to put that out there for people.
Yeah, exactly. So many of these things already exist. Like when people ask me questions, I'm like, I already have this thing you can go look at.
Yeah,
what I mean?
And it doesn't even have to be free. It's like our Business Sense for Creatives bundle is $97. It's super affordable and it covers like people's processes and pricing. Like that is like everything you need to know to kind of get your business started and structured. So
literally
that would be the
everything.
perfect thing. Yeah, that'd be the perfect thing to invest in. And that's way better than like being sneaky or weird about something.
Yeah, you're going to learn way more. You're going to learn way more from like that perspective versus like trying to be a client, because as a creative, I'm not like explaining everything to my client in the proposal. You know what I mean? So
yes.
It doesn't really help you with that much. Okay, and then you can also reach out to CRM platforms like Dubsado and Honeybook and ask them to guide you through an inquiry workflow example. These companies, they have a ton of free tutorials online that you can take advantage of, and they honestly have so many cool ideas for how things work. And you can learn from like other industries too, like not just stationers, photographers too, like or other creative business owners who are doing these kinds of things, and like, get insight from them as well and see how they're using Dubsado and Honeybook. Like if you're in those Facebook groups for Dubsado, people are posting their stuff on there all the time and asking you to fill out their stuff to go through their workflow process. You can kind of get like a behind the scenes peek on that, and it's like welcomed and they're asking you to do that versus like being sneaky. So
yeah. Yeah, and those companies want your business. So they're going to be more than happy to answer questions you have about setting up a workflow or how to get started or how to embed a form on your website. Like they are literally the kindest people, especially at Dubsado. That's what Cammie and I use, and have been the kindest every single time about questions. And they host like webinars and stuff too to like go over additional.
They are seriously awesome. And if you haven't used Dubsado yet, we do have a 20% off code you can use. It's Biz Birthday Bash. Get you 20% off your first month or year. We love them. It's awesome. So definitely take advantage of that. And just like once you just get in there and start poking around, you can kind of figure things out on your own too. It's like really nice.
Yep. Yeah, it's great. So there are other ways to like learn and educate yourself without filling out somebody's form directly. And at the end of the day, when I really think about it, it's like you're really not getting a ton of information from that will benefit you, which we already kind of talked about. But
yeah. Hey guys, you know we share a ton of free, helpful info here on the podcast, but if you're looking to go deeper, you need our Business Sense for Creatives bundle. This is our foundational resource. We share it all. Our pricing strategies, marketing plans, our favorite print partners, real life examples of our invoices and workflows, and so much more. Literally, it is amazing. It really is the comprehensive guide for a money-making creative biz.
So with the bundle, you'll get access to our 3 webinar replays, Pricing with Purpose, how to be confident when it comes to charging your worth, People and Publicity, how to find clients and deliver an awesome experience, and lastly, Productivity and Processes, how to run your business efficiently and get crap done.
And not to mention, you'll also get our 3 bonus PF party favors. What? We've heard from students that these are worth the price of it alone. So the party favors are pricing FAQs, the SEO cheat sheet, and a mini favorite vendors guide to get you started on where to print invitations.
So just to clarify, that is not only 3 awesome video recordings, but 3 bonus PDFs as well that support the content from the videos. So I think it's a pretty good deal.
Totally. It's the best deal out there. And you have lifetime access to it, which also adds to the whole value. So
woohoo! Don't take it from us though. Take it from the hundreds of students who have learned from the bundle and have said that these were the best, most real, and informative webinars that they've ever watched. Double their price after watching these and totally skyrocket their businesses.
This is our roadmap of how we got to where we are today, so skip the mistakes and speed bumps, doing it the slow way, and let us put you on the fast track to running a creative biz like a boss and pricing for profit and not just pay.
And the best part, this resource is less than $100. Seriously, y'all, it's only $97 and it's so worth that price and much more. So go to bizbirthdaybash.com/bundle to purchase it today. The next point that we have of other things to do instead is that if you really have to know how somebody's forms or processes work, reach out them directly to be upfront and ask some questions. And honestly, you should offer to pay them for mentoring or coaching. Don't just ask a ton of questions and expect them to be answered for free. So you could say something to like, you know, if I was to reach out to Cami, I would be like, hi, Cami, I respect you so much and everything you've done in the industry. I'm wondering, do you offer any sort of like mentoring or coaching sessions? Because I have questions about like your inquiry form and workflows, blah, blah, blah. Do you have an hourly rate or something like that? Instead of just like posing it as like, let me ask you a ton of questions to get a bunch of information for free. Like, I think it's okay to, I don't know, to like ask them in a way that shows that you're interested in paying for their time.
I think that's a really respectful way of doing things because I feel like as I've like grown up as a business owner, like, you know, just like you get, you know, yeah, we're in like the toddler stage now in my business, I guess, or maybe I'm like in my young child stage of my business. Like I do understand more of like how annoying it was when I'd be like, like just DMing people asking 1,000 questions and they would not answer back at all or anything. Like, so if I had like approached it in a way of like, I understand that what you've already put the time, investment, and like all these hours, blood, sweat, and tears in your business is very, very valuable. And for me to learn from you, like, is like getting the like fast track to success. Like, I understand that is so, so valuable. And like offering to pay is like the respectful way to do it. And if you ask me a question, typically we already have like a resource that answers it because like I feel like our resources have done a really good job of trying to like hit every like pain point. So I almost always direct them to like something or a podcast episode or one of the resources we have, which is really cool that we can do that. But yeah, that's a really respectful way of asking for sure.
Right. Because if you reach out and ask in this way, first of all, they're going to respect you a lot more for being like upfront and just honest and kind about it, like that you're curious about their processes. And then, like Cami said, it gives them the opportunity to be like, either, yes, you can pay me this much for like an hour consultation, or, hey, friend, take a look at like these 3 resources I have or these blog posts that actually talk about this. So then it's like you're kind of getting pointed in the right direction because you have at least been super kind and respectful towards them and have, I don't know, have basically put it out there that you understand that they should be like paid for their time to like
Yeah.
give you knowledge, basically. Like you're valuing them if you do it that way.
Yeah. Exactly. And this next point too is like one of my favorites because you really just have to start somewhere, anywhere. So like maybe you're not confident about your inquiry process, but you know how you learn best? You just do it. You just figure it out yourself. So, I mean, I just started and experimented to see what works and what doesn't, and I make tweaks along the way. And like, you just got to put yourself out there. Like I showed Elizabeth my very first inquiry form. Remember when I was showing you my old Dubsado form a while ago?
Oh
I
my
was like,
gosh.
oh my God, look at this. This is horrible. And like, I realized that wasn't working and I changed it and tweaked it. And like, I've learned those things and that's made, I don't know, my experience as a business owner so much better because I'm not just like looking around and trying to copy everyone else. Like I'm literally learning for myself and understanding what works best for my brain, what works best for my type of clients, what works best for, you know, my own business model and like that sort of thing. Like it's all very, very personal. And I've just figured it out. And like, you know, I have like invested in education and resources for things like that and read a million blog posts. But honestly, you just got to get out there and do it and just try it because that's the best way to learn.
Yep, that's the best way to learn. And even if you are like ripping off someone else's process, this is what Kimmy and I were talking about before, is it's not going to work the same way for you. Like you literally have to experiment and do your own thing to figure out what you want your business to look like, what works for you. There's a reason why I do a scheduled consultation call and Cami doesn't. Like different things work for different business owners. And you've got to be confident in that. You got to be confident to at least step out and try something, because that is literally how we all learn.
Yeah. I just wish I want to instill like so much confidence in up and coming business owners because I think everyone is just so scared and nervous that they're going to do it the wrong way. And like, spoiler alert, there is no right way. Like everyone's doing it a different way. Like there's no like, here's the formula. We have all figured it out and you just have to find it yourself. Like, no, you just literally everyone's doing it differently. So just be confident in that and just own it. Your clients don't know, you don't know what's going on. It's totally fine. You'll figure it out. Just do it, you guys. You got this. I promise.
You got this. Exactly. All right. So the very last point is that once you've built your inquiry process, do a dry run with a friend or a family member and have them fill out your form and give you feedback and even create a proposal for them if you want. So this is kind of like an extension of what we were already saying, is that you have to start somewhere and just go for it. But you can pair up with people or even another creative where you ask them like, hey, could you fill this out and let me know what it looks like from your end? You know, I want to like tweak it and make it better for my client experience.
I think that's a great idea. Like I always tell people with doing your website, give it the mom test. Like I have my mom go out and fill out the stuff because if like she can figure it out and she feels like it's like easy to use, then I know it's going to be fine for everyone else. So do the mom test and definitely get like one of your honest friends. Like Elizabeth is a very honest friend. Like I would ask her and she would be like, yeah, Kimmy, this sucks. What are you doing here? Just kidding. She wouldn't say that. But she would give me very honest feedback about like what was doing good, what was doing bad on like, or like, oh, you know how you can make this better? Like the friends who will like give you actual improvement stuff and not just be like, yeah, it's great. It's great. Unless it actually is great. And then they'll tell you that too. But yeah. And like, if you're part of our A to Z directory Facebook group, I'm sure you could find someone in there and be like, hey, can y'all like fill this out and let me know what you think? Like we're all about like constructive criticism and giving each other feedback and building each other up and helping grow things better. So I love this idea. I think this is really cool. I don't think I ever really did this except making my mom fill it out. So
yeah. It's been a long time since I've done it. So I think I need to get ready to have someone do it again. Like maybe I'll have like my sister or my brothers do it since, you know, they're all home just chilling in Colorado together.
Yeah, like someone not in the industry too is probably good because
totally. Because you want their outside perspective, like a client who doesn't really know that much about the invitation industry, or they don't have like prior expectations to what it should look like or be like. And so that kind of feedback can be the most helpful, the unbiased feedback.
Definitely. Yeah, I love that idea. Okay, so I think that's it on catfishing. Hopefully, we didn't scare anybody too much.
Yes. I know. I hope it didn't scare anyone. And we've already said this before, but this is a guilt-free zone.
Yeah.
If you have done this, it is okay. Move past it. Be
Yeah.
the better person in the future. We all make mistakes and it is fine. Life is filled with grace. But now you know, which is also important and good.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this was a really good conversation. I hope it brings to light some of this in the industry and just offer some education on it, because some people might be like, oh, I didn't even know that's not a good thing to do. Genuinely, they might not know. So there you go. There you have it. Yeah, a bunch of liars. I'm just kidding, y'all. I love you guys. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this episode. We would love for you guys to leave us a rating and review using your real name on iTunes. A 5-star one, please. That would be great. It really helps us with the podcast. It helps us to continue to bring you free episodes every week of us yelling at you and calling you liars. So if you want to continue that, just leave a review. We'd love it.
Oh my goodness. So funny. And if you have any additional questions for us, either about this topic or something else in your business, go to bizbirthdaybash.com/Q and cake, because we do Q and cake episodes every 5th episode where we answer 5 to 6 questions from our audience. So that's the perfect way to ask us anything you want, basically.
Yeah.
I think that's all I have to say about that.
Well, that's all we got to say about that, y'all. So have a beautiful week, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.